Hello, welcome back. We're adding OpenWeb UI, so kind of single click, similar to the project for the scripting for SoC Fortress. This is for OpenWeb UI and NVIDIA. So really the only requirements are that you have a NVIDIA card and it's got like 6 gigs of RAM, enough for like a 6B or 7, 8B model. So here's kind of some example like models and tools and things like that, which I've talked about some of this stuff already in prompts. But this is to get a quick and easy running of OpenWeb UI. So I want to pull down Jamboree, like always. I like to drag it down here, kind of get this out of the way. And we'll not SoC Fortress. We're going to click OpenWeb UI NVIDIA. So right now it's creating a copy of the. It's asking if you want to use the existing image as the clean image for Jamboree or for OpenWeb UI. Right now it's going to copy, export that image, and then use that image to create an image for OpenWeb UI. Now you don't have to necessarily keep this tar file. It's like a gig or something like that. It's not that big, so you get it's nice to keep that original if something happens, whatever. It's only a gig, and your actual package gets installed here. This is your actual virtual image for the Windows subsystem for Linux uses. So I'll talk about this in a second. But what it's doing now is it's installing Docker. It's gone and pulled down some basic tools for IP stuff that will help us determine our DNS servers, everything like that. So right now we're installing Docker, and we've set our DNS to the default DNS inside of Docker to this address. Just if there's any issues or whatever, there's been known issues around DNS with Docker, at least with SoC Fortress. So I kind of use that leading practice or whatever issues he's had might resolve any issues I'll have. So right now we're downloading and installing Llama using their bash, their shell installer. Now I'll tell you, this doesn't have to be run if you're going to be using it locally to test it out. But if you're going to be using it over like a VLAN or site to site, whatever, this will basically port forward that host to the internal host and give you that kind of expose that port for you, right? So that's basically opening up the firewall so it can route to that port. So I told it to wait for 45 seconds. You can do fancy stuff like actually wait and see if the service is actually running. But we're not going to worry about that today. And what I'll do is, while this is in the background, we'll run this. OpenWeb UI root, yep. So this is another shell for this same Windows subsystem Linux that's just going to run in the background here if we need to check on anything. Let's see. Now we're pulling down it did, well, before it didn't wait long enough for Llama to start. So I had to wait 45 seconds for Llama to start. And now it's on enough to at least pull down this Gamma 27B, which that's a bigger model. And I did have it set up to not pull that big one down. So let's see. This should be Dolphin. I don't know why it's pulling down Gamma. Interesting. Maybe it does that by default. No, pulling Gamma. Oh, I'm calling it Gamma 27B, so but it's not. I think we're pulling down this a little. We'll fix it live. All right, so it's pulling down this small model, and the Dolphin. It's like an 8B, 7B. It's 4.7 gigs, so anything around that 6 gig range for GPU should be perfectly fine for this. So we've installed Docker, we've set up a Llama, and we're about to install the OpenWeb UI Docker. Now this Llama can be installed as a Docker. It could be managed as a Docker. That might be something you would do if you were gonna manage it and actually install it locally, you might want to use the Docker version. It just depends. But for me, there's not a lot of changes that happen for me with this current kind of test setup. And we'll go ahead and get the Fabric prompts pulled down. So this is under scripts miscellaneous, and this is all the Fabric patterns exported to, I'll already have it in here, so we'll save it to this backup. Which is USI. This is just kind of, so this will be where we're going to pull our prompts to show you how to import those prompts. Let's see how our install is going. Restarting Docker. And now we're pulling down the development version of the CUDA version for OpenWeb UI. And that's so you can just stay on the latest patches, stay on the latest features. Like I said, I'm currently trying to build a universal media transcoder that will use like YouTube Downloader and parse the page and hopefully bypass some of those anti-scraping things that all these websites on the internet are doing. Now, the way this works is that you start the way the prompts that I've been ported through Fabric. Now, Fabric is a tool by Daniel Miessler, and if you don't listen to his podcast, you should. There's a bunch of Fabric patterns in here that are community-driven, whatever. Like this one was updated last month. And this one does identity and goal system, MD call out. Importance crucial for success. Warning, be cautious. There's a potential risk. Caution. So this is someone's prompt. Call out options for selected best. So anyways, there's a bunch of different kinds in here. Mostly the analyze and extract prompts are what I end up doing. So like extract WinZip or analyze. I think analyze claims is quite interesting. Now these are more designed for specifically OpenAI, but with the right prompting in front of this or the right manipulation, if you don't get back what makes any sense, you can use change this up a little bit. But in theory, it's not going to work as good as OpenAI on your small 1 GPU build or 2 or 3 GPU build. So your models may vary, but if you use OpenAI, these will work pretty well. But I've had pretty good luck with getting the similar. I'm trying to use them both in tandem, and I try to get OpenWeb UI to be more like Kagi. I've been Google free for quite some time now. So we've got it running. We're good to go. Let's see if we can pull it up here. So when you start out, it gives you a page. You put in whatever you want to put in here. Your name, your email, and then whatever password. And this is the admin account. So if you've watched any videos about OpenWeb UI before, you don't want to, mess up this part. Now, Arena model, you can not worry about that. You can go and disable that. But for now, we're going to go in here and go to prompts. We're going to import prompts, and we're going to pull in those Fabric patterns. And it does take a second because it's like 120 different Fabric patterns. So I'll usually open up another window and do that stuff in the back. Now, my kind of default is to mess with the personalization, have some personalization prompts. I've seen some success with that. The other piece that I like to mess with is obviously the web search engine, and I like to use Kagi with my own key. The interfaces and setting default models is also preferred. Now, what I also like to enable is tools and functions. So we have workspace tools. You can come in here and search for the OpenWeb UI tools. Now the one that I use is not function, but tools. It's the YouTube tool. And I think that's already built into, we can actually check right here. See if we get something like this. You put a thing in here and then you press enter. So you put a hash in front of it. Yeah, so it's already built in. So the YouTube stuff's already built in. What is this video about. Now, if there are no subtitles, it won't work. So this one is, like I guess a movie thing. Uh, so that's working without the tools stuff. So it's a good piece to have. And let's see, that's pretty much it. You are good to go. Now, when I start this up on my computer, I don't run it that long, and I can put this in the notes. But essentially, I'm running in a loop because it keeps falling asleep for me. So I run this in a loop and let it sit here and run in the background in a window because I've tried to run it in the background. I've tried to run it as a system process, and it doesn't seem to want to stay alive. But I haven't messed with it enough to get it to not go to sleep. But that keeps it alive and awake because it's actually running a command every 10 seconds or something. So it's start process, and then basically Windows Subsystem from Linux, and then we're passing the argument of the WSL, the OpenWeb UI name, and then we're doing root, and then we're doing a script. It's like a while true, do check the date, whatever. I'll let that marinate, and that way this doesn't go to sleep on me. That might be some other settings I have with my setup and the security settings on this Windows box, or have anti-bloat stuff or debloat stuff. That's pretty much it. It looks like it defaults to black and white automatically, but I would definitely check out, if you haven't tried Kagi, definitely check it out. Their assistant is phenomenal. It's like the same price as ChatGPT, but I think you get a lot more options and you get a lot more things. So I have like Professor Synapse and Universal Summarizers and Discuss Doc are all kind of interesting pieces to this puzzle. So anyways, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys are set. You've got tools and functions you can play with. Now that's kind of the part that I'm trying to get to, is understanding, what the difference between the tools and the functions is, and pipes, and which one I want to use to do the development of any internal tools I want to use for local stuff. So I hope that helps you out. Let me know if you want to do any workshops on anything with the Jamboree suite. We can help you out, and I appreciate it. Have a good one.